we lead the market since '94 until today in terms of products because the best paddles in the world always were coming from our brand, and we lead the innovation during all this time, the let's say 30 years. And we lead also the sales in the market, but since 2015, more or less, the last 10 years, we suffer some instability, internal instability, let's say. We were in Spain.
Hey, paddlers, we're here at Racket X, and here now we're at the Varlion stand, one of the most iconic paddle brands going back 25 years probably, or more than that. We have Felix, the founder, owner, visionary of Varlion. We love some of these rackets. Congratulations. Tell us your paddle journey. How did you come up with this crazy idea to get a paddle brand going?
Well, was a coincidence because when I started in '93, I was planning to make a sport brand.
Okay.
And we decided to start and use paddle sports in Argentina to go inside of the general sport market.
93 was the golden years.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is originally from Argentina, right? The brand?
Yeah, the brand was founded in '93 in Argentina. Yeah. And then we discovered and I found out that we have talent, and ideas to improve the products, to design new products. And also I like a lot the industrial process and the product in general. So we start to produce with our own factory. We start to design new models, very, very big innovation since '94. And then everything goes fast, and we became the leader brand in this market since 25 years, more or less. Mm-hmm. So we continue. We are 32 years in this market. And the last year, we create a new project to relaunch the brand again and recuperate our position as the leadership in paddle.
But let's go back. You said reposition. So what happened? Meaning you had a stronghold on the paddle market, and then how did it go the wrong way? How did you lose it?
Well, we lead the market since '94 until today in terms of products because the best paddles in the world always were coming from our brand, and we lead the innovation during all this time. Let's say 30 years. And we lead also the sales in the market, but since 2015, more or less, the last 10 years, we suffer some instability, internal instability, let's say. We were in Spain.
What was the cause of that, you believe?
Well, sometimes it's very difficult to explain because during 20 years, you're going very fast, growing permanently. And when we were trying to expand the brand internationally because paddle was only Spain, basically, in terms of business. Yeah. We were opening franchise shops, more than 17 in Spain. We were going to also lifestyle wear and footwear with motorsport, paddle, and polo inspiration. We were growing a lot, but suddenly we don't know what happened,
you think you spread out too thin, like got into different areas? No,
I think we need to go more to superstitious things and maybe bad energies or something like this, because economically speaking, we couldn't find an explanation about it. So this creates some instability, more or less, in 15 to 16.
So how did you restructure? What did you do?
We made some changes. We moved the factory from Spain after 10 years, where we were producing the high-end paddles. We were having another factory also in Argentina, then in Morocco for the middle lower range. And then after 16, 17, we moved the factory to South America because basically Mercosur countries, Spain and Sweden, were the only markets you were having. So by producing in Mercosur, you have some competitive advantage in terms of tariffs, let's say. And then arrived COVID. We need to reinvent everything, put a new factory for high-end in Spain. a Dutch company in Netherlands to make the importation and distribution in Europe. We restart to have the distributors during COVID and the post-COVID. And after that, I suffered a scam.
A what?
I was an scam. You know, a scam, a fraud.
Yeah, fraud. Yeah. Okay,
An
explain
internal
that.
fraud.
Yeah, explain that.
Yeah, no, this is it's very sad. First of all, because it's not nice that some ex-employee or some ex, because are not more familiar, make or betray to you. I don't know for
So
what.
we're talking about theft of like trade
They
secrets.
took
money?
us the factory, and I was living in Switzerland, and we were having the factory in Spain.
Yeah.
And with the participation of corrupt public employee from the tax authority, the justice administration, ex-administrator, 15 persons must go to the jail, more or less.
Wow.
So we have this in the justice.
How did that happen?
Well,
how did you? How that was allowed to happen? That's
I told
big.
you when the wolf is not there, you know this phrase.
Yeah.
So and it was
you learned a big lesson there, though.
You see, and I was in Switzerland. Also, I was in Netherlands in the other company as administrator, but I wasn't in Madrid. I was coming once per month, more or less. And happens. This was an agreement. I was divorced. And
that was a bad year for you, my friend. It was a bad year.
No. This was the problem. Try to be generous.
Or a good one, if you think about it. You got to drain the swamp, as our president says.
I became divorced, but I tried to maintain my ex-wife working with me. And this was too much optimism.
This does not
too
work.
much optimism. Yes. So the point is, basically, I restart again from zero 1 year ago. And I changed the project to create what is behind the wall, what is the legacy we call, and is basically redesign everything, launch a new collection like we did. We start in 25. Now we're starting to organize the distribution worldwide. And basically we came here because we launched pickleball, the first pickleball collection with a huge innovation. And this year we launch also the brand in beach tennis. Next year in tennis, and then 2 years later in badminton, squash, and ping pong, because the new objective is basically transfer all the knowledge, all the innovation, and make the same we did in paddle during 30 years, also in pickleball, tennis, squash, etc. Most of the paddle and racket sports. Right. This is the legacy, personal legacy, and this is the business plan for the future. So we are in next rackets to introduce the brand.
So now we have an e-commerce and we sell Varlion.
Oh yeah?
Yes, we have an account there.
Your name is?
Padel Smash.
Oh.
Says Padel. So we believe that it's a good quality racket for the price. It's priced very well. And I think what is the kind of like strategy here in the USA to get people to purchase that racket versus when they go somewhere here in the USA, you got the brands that are rooted here in the USA, Wilson, Head, and like.
Yes.
How do you get them to choose this brand on the wall?
What is your strategy moving forward?
Well, after 32 years, if I know, is of course sell my brand. Honestly, I didn't make too much complex things, because we had always the best product in the market. And basically, the strategy was that the people and the players and the coaches play, try, test the products, and immediately you have a loyalty consumer or loyal consumer for years. They are fun. The point here is that I will move to the United States during the next month. I am creating. We have in the new company in Switzerland. We have another company in Netherlands to manage the distribution in Europe through distributors and through B2B clients. Then we have here, we are making Varlion USA, and I will manage directly this because my perception is that USA market, paddle market, is more or less in the same situation than Spain in '99.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
100%.
And I want to be in front personally to explain to the shops, to the clubs, to the players, to the coaches, even the consumers in public places like this one, what is Varlion? Yesterday, I made a speech here to make the presentation. I will present to you this presentation. You will see a little more about our host history, about the legacy project, and about the new collection in paddle and pickleball that we are launching now. So really, I will manage this directly. I will build an American team to manage the marketing, to manage the sales, to manage the social media, to make good deals with key accounts that they can help us to really get a good position in the market. But I think the best way is, like today came a pro pickleball girl from New York, and she was looking the paddles for paddle. And I asked to her, "What do you want?" "No, I want to test these rackets in paddle because I am pro pickleball player, and I would like to start also in paddle." And suddenly she took a look. She took a look to the pickleball paddles, and she said, "Wow, what is this?"
Oh.
Yes, because they are very different. Like when we start to design and produce ourselves the paddles blades in '94. Was a big crash, was a big reaction from the people because our paddles were very different.
So
and then
did you show her the orchid paddle?
I showed to her the pickleball paddle, and she said, "Oh my God." And so she became to the brand. She will start with us in paddle. She created a lot of content, really interesting person, a lot of energy.
Yeah.
This is what we need, a lot of energy, a lot of force, aim to earn and to win both. Earn money selling Varlion, win in the court using Varlion. And she came. She will start with paddle and she will finish with another brand in June, and she will continue with pickleball. And this is the way. The way is the people who knows test what we are designing, because in pickleball you see the frames with the aerodynamic. The product is totally only one, not two parts, as most of paddles have. Then you have a frame by extrusion, and then you have a core. If you see our paddles, we don't use frames by extrusion.
Oh.
We use, even for cheap rackets, the first price, an injected frame, paddles of $40, $50, with totally different, with GPU materials, very rigid, brand new. And also the core, we use also AVA, not only honeycomb, in first price. In the top, well, we are launching 20 millimeters of thickness, you know about it.
Yeah.
And the most thicker paddle have 16. Well, we have 20 millimeters. We don't use over frame. It's totally flat, the racket, with prisma frame, aerodynamic, with diffuser to control the air, painted. The design, the decoration of the paddles are totally different.
So why don't we talk, Felix, about the new models that you have for 2026?
I must tell you something,
Okay.
Sorry, because it's the...
Yeah, the camera is there.
We have 20%, 15% of the products we brought because UPS didn't deliver it to us, the 80%. So, unfortunately, some things I can't show you.
That's fine.
But I can show you something. For example, if we start from here.
So I gotta say, I love the prism finish here.
Yeah.
I love this finish here, the prism finish. It's very unique
because
I don't see it any other.
So which model is this?
We designed it in 2009.
Okay.
The hexagon frame.
Okay.
When we patent, you have 10 years of exclusivity. After 10 years, most of the brands start to copy us, like most of times, and we designed prism shape, what basically create more mobility of the racket in your hand because reduce the air resistance 10%. This is not a smoke, this is tested in a solid works system with a module airflow is the name, where you check perfectly the percentage of the improvement you have. But then,
so this is the Maxima Riga.
This is Maxima Riga, and Maxima because the shape.
So yeah, let's talk about that because I can get confused. There's Maxima, there's Prism, there's Maxima there. I mean, there's like so many.
You have all. Yeah.
And I know the shape or...
You have Varlion.
Yes.
Rega. What is Rega? Is, let's say, to be a popular answer, the AMG of Mercedes-Benz.
Oh, okay.
Okay? The luxury high performance. Exactly. High performance and luxury concept of the brand.
Okay.
And why? Well, it's what you say. You have an elbow curve from the beginning of the handle all around. So when the vibration comes from the core to the come to the frame, you absorb with this. You have a diffuser that is
diffuser.
flexible.
Yes.
Diffuser. It's not glue. It's not with glue. It's fixed in 3 points, and you can take off and you can put it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Exactly. Then you have a bumper designed especially for this model. Then you have the slice.
So what is a maximum?
Oh, Maxima.
The shape of the...
Maxima is the shape.
Okay.
Which is
Prisma is the frame.
Okay.
What is a teardrop? Exactly.
Okay.
Our Maxima is the teardrop. Our burn is like a diamond, people say. And LW, lethal weapon, is our rounded.
Okay.
It's a shape we designed it in '94.
Okay.
And then you also have the summer, winter.
Yes.
Okay.
So then you see the AVA is red. Why? Because this is a summer version.
Yeah, why don't you explain that? Because we did a product review of this one, and sometimes people get confused between summer and winter. What is the difference on the racket?
Yes. In the racket is that the winter have black AVA, and the summer rackets have red AVA, or in the new collection we'll have colors.
Okay.
Because if you have a burn that is blue with red AVA, looks.
Okay, but so is there a different playability or why it's red?
Yes. The harness with summer version is higher. Let's say it's more hard.
Okay.
More hard the surface.
Okay.
And for example, if you are in Miami and you are playing in the morning with a winter racket, you are playing with 20 degrees. Well, in the afternoon, if you have 30 degrees, with this hotter weather, the temperature make that your winter racket became more softer.
Okay.
Then the performance changed completely, and you as a player need to change your style because then the racket, when it's softer, have a very fast exit in your smash, but you don't have control.
Okay, but let me ask one thing.
And sorry, and to finish. So if you have a summer in your bag, you take the summer that is harder, but with the temperature became a little softer, but not so softer than the other one. And then you change the racket, but you are playing same in the morning style and same in the afternoon.
So now you're making me buy two different rackets, summer and winter.
Yeah.
So I need to buy 2 rackets.
Or decide to play in the morning or in the afternoon.
If you are playing in a level, you play tournaments, let's say.
Well, he doesn't play in that level.
And you have, no, okay. But if you have a level of 4, for example, since 4, 3.54, and you play tournaments, you can feel this perfectly. Yeah. And my suggestion is, if you have the coincidence to play tournaments with different temperature, to don't change your style, way to play, and feel like if you are playing with same temperature, change the racket. But this happens also in tennis.
Yeah.
You have strings or rackets with more or less tension,
Looser,
and
tighter,
depending the player you have in front, depending the surface, depending the weather, you are or your strategy, you are using with more or less tension. It's similar the concept, but in terms of industry, production is totally different.
So, but let me ask you now. Why don't we explain to our viewers and listeners why different the holes are different shape, bigger, smaller?
Yeah.
What does it do to the racket?
Okay, first of all, this is ergo holes. You see
Okay.
here?
Yeah.
Ergo holes. What mean ergo holes? Ergo because we take the edge of the racket, the edge shape of the racket, and we are adding here the holes in the line that is parallel all around the contour.
Okay.
These holes are in 15 millimeters of diameter. The regulations say maximum 13. But if you put the holes from this area 4 centimeters inside, you can make bigger the holes. So that's the reason we use, because this area of the racket is where you have more aerodynamic effect.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So we make it bigger. Then we come off after the 4 millimeters, 4 centimeters, and we put here this line in
Which are
parallel
smaller.
to this, smaller, that have 13 millimeters, that is the maximum
Yeah, if you can
allowed.
see, if you can see it there. So
Yes.
you have the line here, and then smaller
Yes.
here, and then
Yes.
even smaller there.
And then 11 here. Why? Because, and then nothing here. Nothing here, why? Because if you put holes in the middle, you create turbulence. This is what the software, indicate to us. The better aerodynamic is here. Here, you create turbulence, no aerodynamic. So then we leave it plain. What is better? Why? Because if normally the sweet spot is in this area. So this is like a bet. Here you flex more, here less, here less, here less. Okay, if you don't put holes here, you reduce the flexion. If you put holes here and bigger and bigger and bigger, you try to have more homogenic areas to shoot the ball. I don't know if you understand the concept. To make more homogenic,
a bigger sweet spot.
Bigger sweet spot, exactly.
Yeah.
Or, and this is basically the idea when we design these ergo holes in our new collection. And
I gotta also tell you the finish and the details is like no other.
It's not.
Oh my! No, it's perfect. It's like
okay. Thank you very much.
I mean, I see a lot of rackets, and sometimes they have little, imperfections, but every detail is perfect. It's incredible.
Yeah. Also, we add
finish.
here
the QR code. Yeah.
ID.
Yep.
Code. So why? Because this, for example, is the ID code. This is the QR. And why? Because you, as a consumer, you buy one Varlion product, not only rackets, even balls of tube balls, sorry. And then you have a QR in all the products, also in textiles. You put your phone, we open to you a file to claim for a defect of production of the product worldwide.
That's smart.
Directly to the brand. This is an ID code because each racket have the identification to avoid falsifications, robbery, etc. So if you send me this and we detect that the racket was not produced delivered by us, we don't attend you.
Gotcha.
Okay?
So how about this one, the Born Summon?
Well, this is a brand new product of a middle range, but middle range with hexagon frame that we create in 2009.
Doesn't have the prism.
Integrated bumper, and a bumper that is adhesive, so you don't need to drill the frame. And this also helps to reduce vibrations with the diffuser to get more precision in your shoot. And this racket that most of people test here thought that we are using carbon fiber. No, we are simulating the carbon fiber here in the aesthetic, but really, why? Because it's a middle range.
Okay, so what is it, fiberglass?
It's fiberglass, but the quality is so good of the AVA and the mix of the fiberglass fabrics that when you play, the firm, when you feel the shoots are very firm and very pure. And then it's a racket that have a public price of around 180, 170.
US
Yeah,
dollars?
yes.
And what is the retail price of this?
This is 430.
Wow.
Public price. Normally, you go from the clients and or our website. If you make the registration in the Varlion member clubs, 10%. So could be 380. This racket comes with a bumper designed for the racket, come with two over grips, and come in a box in the quality level of if you buy or order a MacBook Air, for example, but in black. So these all things. This is a special.
Yeah,
this is
beautiful
really
racket.
for persons that would like to buy and order the best product in the market. And this is, as I told you, basically a diamond, our burn, and always if you see brand, shape,
Yeah.
okay. Summon is a technical explanation. I explain to you now, and the model carbon T. Then you have a different slice. In this one, there is something very important in Rega, and is this slice.
Right.
What means slice? These lines and these lines. If you are left or you are right, doesn't matter to play like this with the right, with the drive, or like this with the backhand, because you play in paddle with a slice.
Yeah.
And this is over relief. If you touch here, the ball come inside and
Drops.
exactly. The effect is amazing. So then more difficult for your competitor to up the ball.
Yeah.
And also this is something belongs to Riga. And if you see here, we have a different technology that we denominate ergo slice. And what is the ergo slice? Basically the lines
Same thing. Yeah.
we use to make the holes, but over relief to make the same, to try to catch the ball.
Yeah.
You know,
To get more bite.
Yeah.
because if you see, you have an over relief here that you will not find in any paddle in the market.
Wow.
This is
Unbelievable.
yes,
I mean,
this is because we have our own factory. Somebody robbed in my factory, you know, but I have my own again. And in the new one, with 10,000 square meters, is in China. We produce all our paddle blades, pickleball blades, beach tennis, next year tennis rackets, etc. The only brand in the world will have only one factory for everything, what allows to us to basically have enormous confidentiality to develop new products. No spice. Well, you will have always spice, but not so much like if you produce in different factories where they are producing to others.
Felix, I mean, this is beautiful. We love the brand. We sell in our e-commerce at Padel Smash shop. What is the best way for people to get their hands on the rackets? Where's the website, the Instagram, and all those?
Well, in USA, we will start to sell, as you say right now, to the clients basically, and the people could order through their websites or physical shops or
What is the website?
our website, varlion.com.
Okay.
And now you can order, for example, we will deliver in US dollar to your home. And we can deliver from China until Varlion USA have their own warehouse here to supply to the shops, to the webs, to the clubs, and our own sales B2C.
Fantastic. Well, if you're looking for a classic paddle brand, Varlion is here to stay. Please check it out on their website. And if you're a club owner, same thing. Great racket to have at your shops. Stay tuned for more.